In this video, Tesla stock surges higher, Ford has a super embarrassing screw-up, a Tesla board member dismisses Tesla's so-called competition, and alarm bells ring for legacy automotive manufacturers as panic sets in after new data confirms that cumulative EV sales globally have now surpassed $1 trillion US. And everyone, aside from Tesla, is very late to the party. And on the topic of being late to the party, I know some of you guys and girls are a little bit late to the Athletic Greens AG1 party, but eventually I know you're going to cave because this stuff is far too good to ignore. And a quick heads up, I posted a super spicy video on Patreon. If you guys haven't checked out the latest one, it's absolutely not safe for YouTube, but it is most definitely essential viewing. First things first, Tesla stock today up 7.5%, closing just under $210 per share. Year to date, Tesla stock now up a mere 93.57%. No one could possibly have seen this coming. I'm very shocked. If only I had been buying with every spare cent. Alas, I was swept up in the panic myself, crying in the corner and asking for daddy to hold me. I do just want to take a quick moment. Tesla's 52-week high now, $384 per share, and the 52-week low, just over $100 per share. This is one volatile stock. I don't see that changing anytime soon. And I am going to say it again. Tesla stock market cap around $650 billion. Early 2023. I personally am unaware of a better risk-adjusted opportunity. Of course, there's plenty out there, I just don't know about them. And now some brief comments regarding Tesla's competition from a Tesla board member. And no, it's not a board member who has forced their way onto the board to rein Elon Musk in. It's a board member who's actually earned their place on the board and isn't trying to destroy the company. I mean, protect shareholders. I mean, their clients. I think I might just not finish that thought. There's enough deranged people already mad at me.
As we prepare to hear from Elon later on in the week, I just wanted to get your take on what's happening over at Tesla. Obviously, a business that's faced significant challenges in its scale-up, particularly when it comes to production, intensifying competition, not to mention other issues like regulation, for example, in the markets that you sell into and operate in. Critics would also say that Elon, in a way, is also facing additional pressure because he's stretched. People say that he's distracted. How do you react to that? How do you respond to that? And how is he doing?
It's really a question whether he's a human or alien, but he seems to have an incredible bandwidth of his work. So I just commented, and you can ask him directly. But one of the things I just wanted to mention is like Tesla has been pushing the regulator very hard. And then we got a lot of pushback. And some of our approach has not been very conventional, so we create a lot of debate and controversy. But I think it's also reflect that the urge we are feeling, so we don't care about the competition really because we are basically competing against the internal combustion engine. So we have like another 80+% of the global car sales are still not EV. So we are kind of competing against them.
Some important points here. Many people confusingly think that Tesla is competing against internal combustion engine manufacturers, failing to understand that their ICE sales are about to go to zero. And when I say about to, I mean, give it 5-7 years maybe. Tesla isn't paying attention to the so-called competition. They're simply continuing to scale up their production. It's quite amusing how many people make the mistake of assuming that Tesla is competing with internal combustion engine vehicle manufacturers. Tesla's not. In fairness, Tesla is going to put them out of business. But the horse and cart is not Tesla's competition. ICE vehicles are going away. What's worth paying attention to is, are there any companies today profitably producing compelling electric vehicles at scale other than Tesla? Eyes on that prize. As Hero points out here, EVs are less than 20% of the global automotive market today. In the future, they'll be 100%. That is the opportunity Tesla's going after. Now on to the second most embarrassing thing to happen in legacy automotive this week. What's the number one embarrassing thing? Well, you guys will have to head over and check out my latest Patreon exclusive for that one. Not even going to go there. Ford F-150 Lightning production paused. Possible battery problem. A Ford spokesperson confirmed that the potential issue was discovered during a pre-delivery quality inspection. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just so we're clear, Ford is currently the number 2 EV producer in the United States, an embarrassingly distant second behind Tesla. But they're still number 2. I kind of feel like, for some reason, some guy who knows a little bit about manufacturing stuff said something along the lines of production is hard. I think Ford have just discovered that this was an accurate statement. Let's read the article. The demand for electric cars is high right now, and that's especially true of vehicles like the Ford F-150 Lightning. By the way, absolutely true. I mean, bro, if you want a traditional looking pickup truck that's electric in the US, and I don't mean one that you can throw in your handbag when you go out dancing on the weekend, shout out to Rivian, but I mean an actual full-size pickup truck. The F-150 Lightning is it, and I have to commend Ford The fact that they've gone after this, taken the risk, electrified their flagship vehicle, brilliant. Until the Cybertruck comes out, at least at mass volume, Ford's basically got a free run. So they do not want to fuck this up. But of course, fuck-ups are inevitable for every company attempting to scale up production on EVs. Production actually really is hard. Unfortunately, people in line to take delivery of the popular electric pickup truck will likely have to exercise some additional patience, at least for now. According to an article published by Motor Authority, Ford has temporarily halted production of the F-150 Lightning electric truck. The Big Three automaker will not only pause the manufacturing process for a time, but also cease from shipping F-150 Lightnings that are currently in transit to dealers. Sorry, mispronounced Steelers, my bad. That said, there is not a stop sale on F-150 Lightnings that's already available in dealer inventory. So this appears hopefully to be a new issue. Otherwise, you'd hope Ford would stop selling any of these vehicles. Maybe they've made some adjustments to manufacturing techniques, removed a few parts, and then realized, oh, fuck, that was a bad idea. Again, discovering that production is, what's that word again? Hard. The publication writes that Ford's spokesperson, Emma Berg, has officially confirmed the information. It's also known and confirmed that the pause comes as a precaution due to a potential battery issue, though the specifics of the concern have not yet been made public. Berg did, however, disclose that Ford became aware of the potential issue during a pre-delivery quality inspection. At this point in time, the car maker hasn't been appraised of any real-world incidents or problems related to the possible battery concern. So good on Ford, they're being cautious here. And I do want to, just for the record, confirm that I really hope Ford can make it. I like to see what they're doing. Jim Farley's a great CEO, doing the best job he can, as opposed to most legacy automotive CEOs who aren't great and aren't doing the best job they can. And this is actually very bullish for Ford. Why? Because they've discovered a problem. They've made a mistake. They've f***ed up, and they're now learning from their f***up. Just about every other legacy automotive manufacturer hasn't even got to this point producing EVs to have the f***ups to realize they've got some learning to do. So believe it or not, this is actually a good sign for Ford. Every other automaker is going to encounter similar issues as they begin to ramp up production of their EVs. The fact that Ford's actually here because they've been ramping up production, round of applause. Most other automakers aren't even here yet. Engineers at Ford are currently in the process of figuring out what caused the issue. The automaker will eventually restart production and clear vehicles for shipping once they've discovered the cause of the potential issue and taken any necessary action to resolve it. Until Ford has identified the cause of any potential battery concerns, it cannot specify how long F-150 Lightning production and in-transit shipping may remain paused. Berg shared, quote, "It depends on how long it will take to conduct the root cause analysis." So yeah, this is a big bummer. Hopefully the delay isn't too long. Like I said, Ford actually doesn't have any competition in the full-size electric pickup market in the United States. They have a free run at it, leveraging their epic F-150 brand. As the article goes on to point out, the F-150 Lightning is one of only 3 fully electric trucks currently available on our shores. Available competitors include the Rivian. The Rivian R1T is much more of a lifestyle pickup truck, not really competing. And the GMC Hummer is a fucking joke. The number of these things delivered last year, numbers in the hundreds. The Hummer is a non-serious attempt. Can you really picture a GMC Hummer on a work site? Exactly. Best of luck, Ford. And remember, production is hard. And now over to Doomberg. Electric vehicle sales topped 1 trillion in wake-up call for car makers. Nail on the head here. Alarm bells are ringing at manufacturers that have been reluctant to ditch combustion. Talk about an understatement. They're in full panic mode now. Scrambling like you wouldn't believe. They're not saying it out loud. Make no mistake. Behind closed doors, even the dumbest of these motherfuckers now realizes, oops, we probably should have been moving towards EVs a lot faster than we have been. Silly us. Global spending on electric vehicles is surging. According to a new report published by Doomberg NEF on investment in the energy transition, annual spending on passenger EVs hit $388 billion in 2022, up 53% from the year before. Fancy that. That magic number again, that roughly 50% amount year over year. Sounds familiar. I kind of feel like there was a company that's kind of aiming for roughly that amount of growth in their... I can't think of that company though, but does anyone know? I kind of feel like we should have seen this coming, because a company saw this coming and is aiming for this and has publicly been doing so for a number of years. With the 2022 tally included, the total value of electric vehicles sold to date in the passenger vehicle segment has now crossed $1 trillion. There are a few ways to look at that figure. At the most basic level, if an automaker didn't have a decent EV strategy, they missed out on their share of $1 trillion revenue opportunity over the last decade. Facts. That sounds like a big number, but global auto sales are worth around $2.5 trillion a year. So over the last 10 years since EVs first showed up in the modern era, the value of total car sales has been roughly $25 trillion. In that context, the cumulative value of EV sales is relatively modest. Total profits from EVs are much lower. We've got a bit of an infographic here. Annual global spending on EVs and charging infrastructure in green, passenger EV sales. In grey, commercial EVs and buses. And a couple of specs for home charging, electric 2 and 3 wheelers, and public charging. Does anyone notice a trend? Kind of looks like exponential growth to me. No, for real though. If you took 2016, 17, 18, 19 and 2020, you'd be lucky to be about half the figures sold in 2022 alone. Still, growth rates matter, and almost 60% of total EV spending occurred in just the last 18 months. This year will break records again, with passenger EV sales likely to comfortably exceed $500 billion. This is now a very material, very fast moving part of global auto sales. We are now just hitting the sweet spot of the S-curve. The auto industry operates on long product cycles. While it feels like there's a constant stream of new products, many are just it's true. Many are just cosmetic updates to existing models. Facelifts in industry parlance. Yeah, exactly. In the last few years, the cumulative changes and improvements to a traditional legacy automotive vehicle, the new model year, we added an extra USB charger for your smartphone and 2 cup holders. Please buy our new product, it's totally new and definitely worth upgrading. To understand product cycles and what happens next, it's important to look at vehicle platforms. High volume automakers develop new platforms that underpin vehicles over what is usually a 6 to 10 year period. The platforms take years to develop, cost billions of dollars, and ideally are versatile, allowing automakers to use different body structures catering to a wider variety of consumer preferences. By the way, super fair, Tesla's first gen platform included the S and X, their second gen platform, the 3 and Y, and they're about to announce their next gen platform at Tesla's 2023 Investor Day. And while Tesla's announcing their third, or if you really want to be picky, maybe 4th gen platform, I kind of don't count the original Roadster, other automakers are struggling to ramp up production on their 1st gen platform, or they haven't even begun. I wonder how that ends for everybody that ain't Tesla. These platforms also allow for component sharing across many models. Tesla's original goal with Model 3 and Y was 75% parts in common, which is a necessary part of the cutthroat economics of building vehicles at scale around the world. Long development cycles also mean that if an automaker has been caught wrong-footed, it can take quite a while to realize the full impact of their colossal f***ups. The $1 trillion EV sales mark is probably the point where it becomes clear that some automakers made the wrong bets. Talk about an understatement. Japanese automakers illustrate this well. All of the Japanese brands combined sold less than 5% of the EVs purchased globally last year, and none were among the top 10 EV brands by volume. This wasn't a problem in 2019, where plug-in vehicles were just 2.6% of global auto sales, but it's worrisome when they'll likely be closer to 18% of sales in 2023. It's even more extreme in China, where EVs will likely be over 30% of sales this year, up from just 5% in 2019. That's a huge change in a timeframe well within the normal life cycle of a vehicle platform. Japanese automakers' market share in China is now starting to slip to 21% of new vehicle sales last year from 25% in 2020. Alarm bells are ringing at the Japanese automakers now, with Honda revamping its EV strategy and Toyota installing new management preaching an EV-first strategy. About time, actually. It's way too late. Changing course will take a while. Toyota has said it won't have a new dedicated EV plan. God damn it, these idiots. Oh man. Toyota has said it won't have a new dedicated EV platform ready for launch until 2027, which, for the record, is approximately the point in time where I expect about 0 ICE vehicles will be manufactured globally anymore. Now, look, there'll be some exceptions, but by 2027, I expect at least 80% of all new vehicles sold will be electric, give or take. And if Toyota doesn't even have an EV platform until that year, what are they going to be selling that year, and the year prior, and exactly nothing? Rest in peace, Toyota. Too little, too late. While that might get accelerated, it reflects the timescales traditional automakers operate on. Toyota may well still succeed. Spoiler alert, yeah, good luck with that. The company has shown impressive adaptability over its 85-year history, but the point here is that the next vehicle cycle is absolutely critical to turning the ship around, which, by the way, said ship is also currently sinking. So Toyota needs to turn around a gigantic ship that's currently sinking toward the bottom of the ocean. It is possible, but I wouldn't be betting on it. Many other automakers face a similar situation, with their platforms for models due to arrive from 2026 to 2028 largely set. It will take a few years to find out if they've made the right bets. There are still many challenges ahead as EV sales take off. Even after the phenomenal growth of late, only about 3% of the 1.3 billion passenger cars on the road globally will be electric at the end of this year. Soaring demand is also placing real strains on battery supply chain and public charging infrastructure. Facts. Still, the first $1 trillion highlighted in BNEF's report marks the beginning of real materiality in the auto sector. EVs have captured mind share and excitement from industry watchers for years. They're now capturing real market share too. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. Behind closed doors, legacy automotive manufacturers are in full panic mode. And I don't just mean automakers like Government Motors, who embarrassingly, and I mean really embarrassingly, partnered with multiple fraudulent companies in an attempt to get some EV clout, recently ran a f***ing Super Bowl ad, literally spending money on a Super Bowl ad to tell people they're spending more money, paying Netflix to insert their fake EVs into their Netflix series, because it's the least they can do. You know, the most they could do would be actually producing EVs instead of paying Netflix to put their fake EVs in their shows. But I've already covered that in my Super Bowl commercial reaction video. Ford, who, as I mentioned, are literally number 2 in the US for EV sales, are starting to discover that production is actually rather hard. In coming weeks, months, quarters, and yes, years, we are going to see an epic scramble as legacy automotive manufacturers rush to the lifeboats, abandoning the sinking ship and hoping to somehow survive their transition to EVs. Unfortunately for them, aside from a few miraculous exceptions, they're not going to make it. If only the leaders within these companies had removed their heads from their own asses, seen the writing on the wall, and taken action. But doing so would require a brain and the ability to process information. In their defense, it's clear that this wasn't the case, so hey, don't blame them. Blame the people that put these idiots in charge. I've been trying to warn these clowns now since I launched the channel back in 2019. If you want to fact check me, go watch my earliest videos. Listen to what I said about what was happening to legacy automotive. Tesla's lead, the fact that they're already too late to the party, they didn't see what's coming, the costs are declining precipitously, predictably. What were they doing? Probably too busy having a meeting about how many new cup holders to put in their latest model year. What's been most surprising to me over the last few years is discovering how dumb intelligent people can be, how oblivious, how blind, how ignorant, and how naive. As I said recently, you can lead a moron to water, but you can't make them think. Now for the world's smoothest segue from automotive CEOs who wouldn't take the hint to you guys who I hope will take the hint. Much like I've been repeating for years that legacy automotive manufacturers were screwed, they needed to move towards EVs, the writing was on the wall, and they really needed to hurry the up. Today I find myself repeatedly banging the drum on Athletic Greens AG1. It really is that good. I'm sure many of you guys and girls are sick of hearing me bang the drum on Athletic Greens AG1. Just like many automakers are probably sick of hearing me roast them for being morons and not seeing the EV transition that was inevitably happening that they were missing out on. And while many of you are no doubt getting sick of hearing me extol the virtues and the benefits of Athletic Greens AG1, I am most certainly not sick of feeling and performing my best. I've been taking this stuff every morning now for close to 2 years. There is a reason I am able to so consistently produce such a large amount of content. My entire life revolves around optimizing my output, and Athletic Greens AG1 is one of the most powerful tools in my toolkit. You guys can unlock a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 by using the link in the description or heading to athleticgreens.com/SMR. There's a 90-day money-back guarantee. Athletic Greens AG1 will fill in nutrient gaps, promotes gut health, and supports whole body wellness. It's packed full of 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. It's full of prebiotics, probiotics, adaptogens, enzymes to help with digestion and to promote gut health, which can affect mood and energy. It's absolutely brilliant bang for buck. Now, I do understand there's a few skeptics out there. Come on, bro, it can't be that good, can it? It is. Optimizing your health, well-being, energy, and recovery is the foundation of sustained high-level performance. And you don't need to take my word for it. 90-day money-back guarantee. What have you got to lose? What was that saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink? Consider this my leading you to the water. Head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or use the link in the pinned comment and start your routine of taking Athletic Greens AG1 every day. Or don't. It's not going to make any difference to how I feel, but I don't think the same can be said of you. Bit of food for thought. And a reminder that I posted a super spicy, very not safe for YouTube video exclusively on Patreon. You'll definitely want to check that one out. It's actually highly relevant to today's video. So, see you over on Patreon. Love ya.